welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I am Nina. And today we're talking about Pyramus and Thisbe. This is part 2, right?
That's right. And in part 1, we learned that Pyramus and Thisbe grew up as neighbors and that they eventually fell in love, but because their families were fighting, they were not allowed to be together or to even talk to each other.
Exactly. So at the end of part 1, they talked about making a plan and meeting together and running away.
They were able to talk through just a crack in the wall, but it's not good enough. So they'd have a plan to run away and to meet at night. So Nina, if you were Thisbe, what do you think you would do if you were like Pyramus and Thisbe and your parents wouldn't let you two be together?
I feel like they don't need to run away together. I feel like they can just be together and, deal with the parents. Make their parents be okay with it or get used to it because they will just do what they want, what their heart wants, and I think that their parents will eventually be okay with it.
I think that's a big risk to take though, because what if their parents are not okay with it?
Yeah.
And then their parents stop giving them money, so they don't have no money because their parents, they can't get their parents' money. They have nothing.
They could work, but also they were planning to run away together anyways. So I don't really see what they have to lose if they try to,
The money, of course. I mean,
but
they need their parents' money. I need my parents' money. For, my mom gives me money.
Now? Still today?
What, yours doesn't?
No.
Well, you must not have been a very good daughter.
Probably, or because I'm almost 30, but who knows?
All right, well, let's get into our story. So we're going to look at Pyramus and Thisbe, part 2, after this.
All right.
That night, Thisbe snuck out first and hurried eagerly to the meeting place. While she was waiting for Pyramus, she spotted a lioness with blood dripping from its mouth as it approached the stream. Fearing for her life, Thisbe ran away and hid in a cave, but she accidentally dropped her cloak as she fled. The lioness lapped up water from the stream, and it tore at Thisbe's cloak with its bloody jaws before moving on.
Welcome back. We're looking at part 2 of Pyramus and Thisbe. So when we just finished off part 1, we have found out that Pyramus and Thisbe have this plan to go meet by a king's tomb next to a mulberry tree.
Yes, I wonder what's going to happen. Are they going to run away? Are they going to change their minds? Let's find out. That night, Thisbe snuck out first and hurried eagerly to the meeting place. While she was waiting for Pyramus, she spotted a lioness with blood dripping from its mouth as it approached the stream. Okay, so the stream, because there was a water stream, right? That's where they met, by the tomb. And she saw a lioness. So a lioness is just a female lion, right?
Yeah, it's just a way to say a female lion, not a male lion. It's the female one, a lioness.
Exactly. And she snuck out of her house. So snuck is actually the past tense of sneak, right? It's like when you tiptoe, you don't want anyone to find out. That's called sneaking. Okay?
Right. I always I think about sneaking out when I was in high school.
Oh yeah?
No, actually no.
You never snuck out?
I shouldn't say that on here. My mom might watch.
Okay, well, trouble. I snuck out when I was in high school too.
Okay, so fearing for her life, Thisbe ran away and hid in a cave. But she accidentally dropped her cloak as she fled.
Okay, so fearing for her life, she was scared of the lioness, so she went to a cave, right, to hide away, and she dropped her cloak.
So she's fearing for her life. So when you're saying you can fearing something, it means you're afraid of it, but fearing for something means that you might lose that thing, that it might be broken somehow. So fearing for her life means she's afraid that she might die.
Yes, okay, so she fled, right?
And she accidentally dropped her cloak. So accidentally meaning by accident or not on purpose. So something she didn't intend or want to do. So she didn't mean to leave her cloak there. She wasn't like, oh, here's my cloak, lion. She accidentally dropped it as she was in such a rush to get into this cave to hide.
Yeah.
So for example, I accidentally sent my vacation pictures to my teacher.
Ooh, that's awkward.
It is awkward. I hope there's nothing, nothing you don't want the teacher to see in there.
Or maybe the person said that they were sick and then went on a vacation, right?
Yeah, that would be bad as well.
Okay, so we mentioned that she fled, and fled is the past tense of flee, which is to escape by running away, especially because of danger or fear, right? So in this case, she was fleeing from the lioness. So another example, when the war broke out, many people fled the country. So they escaped, they left the country.
Right, you get out of there, to get away quickly, flee something bad, something scary.
Yeah, so continuing, the lioness lapped up water from the stream, and it tore at Thisbe's cloak with its bloody jaws before moving on. Okay, so, it was full of blood, her jaws, the lioness, and it was tearing at the cloak. So it's probably going to leave behind a bloody, torn up cloak there, right?
Yeah, so I guess it's going to be, a bloody cloak on the ground, so I guess she can't wear it anymore. It's going to be ruined. I hope it wasn't too nice of a cloak because I don't think she's going to be able to wear this torn up, bloody cloak again. So
yeah, I think that's the last part of her worries right now.
Well, you don't know. Maybe she's very into fashion and leaving this cloak behind is going to make her very sad. And maybe Pyramus sees her without her cloak and he's going to be like, oh, what? You don't even dress up for me for a meeting at night? And he's going to be disappointed and just leave.
Yeah, I guess we'll only find out after the break. Let's see what happens when Pyramus arrives.
All right.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的故事读到 Pyramus 和 Thisbe 决定私奔，那他们约在溪流旁边一棵桑树附近的国王陵墓碰面。那天晚上啊，Thisbe 他先溜出来，赶往会合的地方。当他在等待 Pyramus 的时候，就看到一只嘴巴在滴血的母狮子正往西边走去。他担心自己的性命安危，就逃走，然后躲进一个山洞里面。不过在逃跑的时候，这个披风不小心掉了。那后来母狮子就用血淋淋的嘴把那件披风给撕裂了。好，单字 accidentally 它表示意外地、不小心地或是偶然地。那么 flee 这个动词它表示逃跑、逃走或逃离。注意它的动词三态是 flee、fled、fled。另外文中它用到 sneak out 来表达偷溜出去。这个 sneak 就有前行、偷偷行动的意思。Nina 老师在讲到这个动词时，她用到 tiptoe，T-I-P-T-O-E，tiptoe 可以表达垫脚走，垫着脚这样走路。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看重点。Fear for something or somebody 可以表达为什么担心、忧虑，像 fear for one's life 可以表达担心自身的性命安危。Fear for one's safety 表示担心某人的安全，像是 She feared for her son's safety， 她担心儿子的安全。那这句话课文中。
When Pyramus arrived and saw the blood-stained cloak, he was horrified. Thinking Thisbe had been killed, he kissed her cloak, took out his sword, and drove it deep into his side. His blood sprayed onto the tree and colored the white mulberries a dark red. Thisbe then emerged from her hiding place and saw Pyramus lying on the ground. She rushed to his side, and as she lifted his head, he opened his eyes and gave her one last smile before he died. Upon realizing what Pyramus had done, Thisbe took the sword and stabbed it through her own heart. When their families found them, they buried Pyramus and Thisbe together. From then on, the color of ripe mulberries was forever changed from a pale white to a deep dark red.
All right, welcome back everyone. So before the break, we were talking about how Thisbe had arrived at the meeting spot. But there was a lioness, so she was feared for her life and she had to run to a cave to hide out, right? But she dropped her cloak.
Yes, that's right. She dropped her cloak and then this lioness began to tear apart her cloak.
Yeah, because also the lioness had bloody claws, right? So it left the cloak a huge bloody mess.
Right, it says blood was dripping from its mouth. I don't know if it just ate or something, or maybe it, cut itself. I don't know.
All right, so now let's find out what happens after Pyramus arrives.
When Pyramus arrived and saw the blood-stained cloak, he was horrified. Okay, so it is blood-stained, so meaning that when the lioness tore it apart with its bloody mouth, it stained or it marked the cloak with blood, making it blood-stained.
Yes. Okay.
Thinking Thisbe had been killed, he kissed her cloak, took out his sword, and drove it deep into his side.
Oh no! So he saw the bloody cloak and thought that Thisbe was killed. So maybe he thought there was no point in living anymore, right? And he drove the sword into his side.
Ooh, okay. So he was horrified when he saw the bloody cloak. Horrified meaning shocked, usually by something scary or fearful, something that makes you feel, or can even mean making you feel very sad. So horrified meaning shocked, but in a very bad way. A very bad surprise can horrify you.
Yeah.
So for example, he was horrified by the accident scene. So saw something very bad there.
Okay.
So now this is quite, he drove the sword into his side because he's just, he's just assumed that she's dead. But that's very quick to just go.
Yeah, I don't think people should make that type of assumption until they see proof. All right, so continuing with the story, his blood sprayed onto the tree and colored the white mulberries a dark red. Okay, so his blood made the mulberries red and they were white before, right? Okay, so Thisbe then emerged from her hiding place and saw Pyramus lying on the ground. Oh no.
Okay, so is this why mulberries are red now? Because
I wonder.
Pyramus's blood sprayed onto the mulberry tree?
Okay, so maybe that's the story behind it. So she emerged from the cave, right? So emerge is to appear by coming out of something or out from behind something. Okay, for example, Alice's cat emerged from under the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, so she emerged from the cave and noticed him on the ground. Oh no!
Okay, so she rushed to his side, and as she lifted his head, he opened his eyes and gave her one last smile before he died.
Aw, that's so sad.
Sad. But at least he died happy. They gave her a smile because he's just happy to know that she is still alive.
That's true.
Although
Okay.
I think he made a very bad decision.
Very bad. So upon realizing what Pyramus had done, Thisbe took the sword and stabbed it through her own heart. Well, that smile was for nothing then.
Right. So he was smiling to see that she's still alive, and then she goes and does this. That's not a nice way to do to someone who loves you, even though he's already gone.
I don't know. I think this story is very sad, and it just, the moral of the story is don't make assumptions.
Right. Well, so she stabbed the sword through her own heart, meaning to stab is to mean to stick a knife or something pointy, usually a weapon, into something, usually with the intent to cause some harm or to even kill someone or something. So for example, the knight stabbed the monster with his sword.
Okay.
So the story continues. When their families found them, they buried Pyramus and Thisbe together. From then on, the color of ripe mulberries was forever changed from a pale white to a deep, dark red.
Good. So we're actually eating Pyramus's blood.
Maybe that Pyramus's blood forever changed it. So now we're eating. If you eat mulberries, you're having some
Some of
A little bit of Pyramus.
Okay, that's ew. Anyways, but you know, that just brings me back to how I thought that if they had been together, eventually their parents would be okay with it. Because as you can see, you know, once they found out they died together and that they love each other, they buried them together. So I do think that their parents could have come around.
Okay. We have a what do you think question. So what do you think, Nina? Why is the story of Pyramus and Thisbe still relevant today?
Well, because of the mulberries, right?
Right, because now whenever you have a mulberry, you need to think back to the story and go, oh, this tastes like Pyramus.
Oh no. That's so bad. Okay, what about you?
Yeah, well, I was going to say the mulberries as well. Okay. And I had some mulberry tea the other day, and I gotta say, Pyramus is pretty delicious.
Oh my. Anyways, we hope you enjoy the story and fight for your love. We will see you next time.
And enjoy your mulberries. Goodbye.
Bye.
好，那么接着 Pyramus 抵达汇合的地方，当他看到沾满血迹的披风时呢，他就吓坏了，以为 Thisbe 遭到杀害，于是他就亲吻了 Thisbe 的披风，拔出剑，然后往自己的侧腹插进去，他的血就喷到树上，把白色的桑葚染成了一片深红色了。Nina 老师认为 Pyramus 不应该这么快就做出这样的假设，应该要等更多的证据出现才对吧？老师用到 assumption 这个字 ，assumption 表示假设、假定或是臆断。好，那么故事就接着写到说，后来 Thisbe 出现，他看到 Pyramus 躺在地上，马上冲到他身边，然后扶起他的头的时候。Pyramus 这时候还有张开眼睛，然后在死前给他最后一个微笑。好，那么后来 Thisbe 也拿起剑刺穿自己的心脏。当他们的家人找到这两个人时，就把他们两个埋葬在一起。从那时起啊，这个成熟桑葚的颜色就永远从淡白色变成深红色了。好，单字 horrify 它是动词，表示使什么感到惊恐、使震惊。Matt 老师在解释时，他用到 fearful， 就是在 fear 后面加上 ful， 变成这个形容词，表示害怕的、担心的。下一个单字 emerge， 它表示出现、浮现或者显露。那么 stab 它表示将什么来刺入，或者是用锐利的东西、用锐器这个器具来戳啊、刺或是捅的意思。好，这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是感官动词，它是指表示看啊、听、闻、感觉之类的动词，包括 watch、see、look at、listen to、hear、smell。feel 等等，我们以下介绍两种常见用法。第一种，你可以用感官动词加受词加原形动词，那这是指事实或是过程，像 We didn't see him leave the room， 我们没看到他离开房间。那第二个句型，你可以用感官动词加受词加现在分词 VING， 这表示动作正在进行。例如I heard someone singing in the bathroom. 我听到有人正在浴室里唱歌。好，以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
That night, Thisbe snuck out first and hurried eagerly to the meeting place. While she was waiting for Pyramus, she spotted a lioness with blood dripping from its mouth as it approached the stream.Fearing for her life, Thisbe ran away and hid in a cave, but she accidentally dropped her cloak as she fled. The lioness lapped up water from the stream, and it tore at Thisbe's cloak with its bloody jaws before moving on. When Pyramus arrived and saw the blood-stained cloak, he was horrified. Thinking Thisbe had been killed, he kissed her cloak, took out his sword, and drove it deep into his side.His blood sprayed onto the tree and colored the white mulberries a dark red. Thisbe then emerged from her hiding place and saw Pyramus lying on the ground. She rushed to his side, and as she lifted his head, he opened his eyes and gave her one last smile before he died. Upon realizing what Pyramus had done, Thisbe took the sword and stabbed it through her own heart. When their families found them, they buried Pyramus and Thisbe together. From then on, the color of ripe mulberries was forever changed from a pale white to a deep dark red.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Carolyn.
We're going to play a game called Guess the Bear. Each of us has 3 words or phrases on these cards with 2 sentence examples for each. But when we're reading the example, we're going to say the word bear instead of the actual word, and you only have 1 minute to guess all 3.
Yes.
All right, you're going to guess first.
Okay.
Start the timer. Number 1, this is a verb. Everyone was bared by the scene of the grisly accident. Number 2, he was bared when he realized she had heard him talking about him.
Shocked.
Close.
Surprised.
Another more like everyone was bared by the scene of the grisly accident, and he was bared when he realized she had heard him talking about her.
I'll think about it.
Okay, this is what verb. Number 1, one person will bear as the front runner in the election. Number 2, dolphins bared from the water and dove back down again.
Can I have the second clue again?
Dolphins bared from the water and dove back down again.
Emerge.
There you go. Okay, this is the phrase, 2 words. When I heard the tornado siren, I bared bear my life. Number 2, she bears bear his future if he doesn't change his ways.
Fear for.
Good. Okay, the first one. Everyone was bared by the scene of the grisly accident, and he was bared when he realized she had heard him talking about it. You were close. It was horrified.
Horrified.
Everyone was horrified by the scene of the grisly accident, and he was horrified when he realized she had heard him talking about her. Don't talk about people behind their backs. Okay.
Fair enough. Okay, 1 minute for you, Stephen.
All right.
Okay, your first word is an adverb.
Okay.
I bear dropped my phone onto the pavement. My sister Bear called me while she was driving.
Loudly. Again.
I bear dropped my phone onto the pavement. My sister...
Accidentally.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Accidentally. Okay, next one. Verb. My family had to bear our village and start over. People bared the country when the war started.
Flee?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that's...
Okay, last one. Verb, 1 word.
Okay.
The knight bared his sword into the dragon. The criminal bared his victims in the shoulder.
Oh man, stabbed?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's really dark.
Wow,
Jeez.
you got all of them.
That's really dark.
And I think we're still under time.
I mean, like, wow, like the fleeing one could have been escape. So I was gonna say escape as my next one. And then the last one was just kind of dark. Stabbing. Don't stab people.
Yeah, although like the criminal stabbing like into the shoulder, which was interesting. But I think what really helped you, like I could see like as I was like reading them, you were like creating like a movie in your mind and like acting them out as I was saying them. I think that really helped you. I might like take that.
Yeah.